What interaction have you had with Keefe D during your life?
Well, when I was a teenager, my cousin Stayslow from Southside had been from Southside, from my understanding, for a year and a half, 2 years. And then one day I was on Glencoe. My homegirl Marcia, she had to turn herself in to the feds. She from my hood, from my neighborhood. And she had, you know how you hear these rappers getting caught up with guns at the airport? Mm-hmm. Way back then, in the 90s, she had accidentally caught up going through the airport with a pistol in her fucking briefcase that she didn't know about.
Classic way to
go
through a few years.
Yeah, exactly. And
happens to a lot of people.
On my mama, dead homies, daughters, loved ones, all everything I love and live for. She still had a house on Greenleaf at the time. This in the 90s, early 90s. And she had a turn-in date. So when she was finna turn herself in, she threw a party on Greenleaf. So I got a cousin from Southside. I knew the homies was finna be coming to Compton later on when the sun came down. So I stay in Track New Hood. Instead of me going to the hood, then coming later on with the homies, I went to the South with my cousin, and I've been there all day hanging out in Compton, knowing later on the homies coming. Yeah. So we've been in the Compton hanging. So we had the spot. They homie Big Duck used to have a spot on Glencoe. The G homies had a spot downstairs. Big Duck had a spot upstairs. It was like a 1-bedroom studio. It was like a trap. And we was in there kicking it, cuz. And my cousin from Southside at this time. But he went in the next room, and out of nowhere you hear, he come out, his nose bleeding. They like, we just put cuz on. So it was a night like that. Like
it was cracking.
It was cracking.
It was cracking.
And I'm in here with a gang.
Adam ain't been around.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I want to be around that energy.
It was cool. It was put on. It was love, but it's rough love. It's tough love.
Everybody drinking.
My cousin been hanging and banging and swinging, and he was under the impression he was from the hood, thinking he was finna skip that process. And that was the night they sprung it on him. Like a few niggas who was around seeing his energy, like, that's how it go.
Like, he really present.
Yeah, cuff from the hood. Yeah.
It's that time. You ready?
I'll at you. He don't know it. And then, but my cousin, free Stayslow. Matter of fact, he just went to jail in August recently, and he got $1 million.
How old was y'all?
He's 48 now.
No, how old
we
was
teenagers then. We like 15.
Yeah.
So that shit go down. He come out, nose bleeding. Mind you, I'm from East Coast, and I'm in here with a gang of Atlanta drives and Southsides. It's player though. So it's a nigga named. It's gonna come to me from Atlanta Drive next to me. Long story short, just get to the point. I ended up having a squabble out there, and Lil Mill from Atlanta Drive went to jump in the squabble, and then my cousin jumped in. It went crazy, whoop-de-whoop, right after he got put on. But Keefe D, my earliest remembrance of meeting Keefe D was shortly after the bullshit pop. Keefe D pulled up and called. He used to call me Lil East Coast. He like, "What up, East Coast?" He like, you straight? And I'm like, yeah, we straight. Me and my cousin walked away from that scene right there. And that night, Baby Lane came and pulled up on me. I've told the story before. I don't want to go through all that. But I met Keefe D back then. In my mind, I wouldn't imagine Keefe D would know me these days. However, Lil Keefe D from Southside, his son, is my dog.
Okay.
So just based on politicking with the Loke and all that, I'm aware that Keefe D does remember me from back then. My cousin, my first cousin, my mama's sister's son, Stayslow, he from Southside. And him and Baby Lane was like quite good friends. And I knew Orlando before it was a Baby Lane. So my auntie house is still on Chester.
Orlando as in
Anderson,
the alleged Tupac shooter, right?
The alleged, yeah. So I just think about it. When your mother has 3 sisters and a brother, and your father has siblings, you grow up in Southern California, everybody ends up living somewhere else. So you go spend a night over here, you go spend weekends over here. You start having, from childhood, friendships and connections in a whole lot of areas that you don't even realize are reputable sections. And it's just natural development that when I walk out my mama's house and look to the left, I see Track New Park. When I walk out her sister's house and look to the left, I see South Park. That's just the way I grew up. Not to over-implicate myself in the Trag News politics or in the Southside politics. However, from the day I was born, I got relationships that, are very solid. Free Mike DeRoe, my nigga BGI from Southside Compton, that are very saturated over there. So I'm very familiar with a lot of the ins and outs of a lot of the shit that you hear about talking about on the line right now.
Okay. But so we know basically that Keefe D was in the car.
we believe that.
he says they was
he
right.
says-
He say he
Doesn't really
was
seem
right.
like much of a reason not to believe him, but he's told the story in such a way that he's basically implicating. I don't think he's specified, but it seems like he's saying that somebody else shot Tupac. From your knowledge of Keefe D, do you believe that? Because I've seen a few different clips of like Greg Kading, for example, was one of the lead detectives on it, saying Keefe D had money, he had influence, he had respect because of the fact that he was a drug dealer, but he was probably not the guy who was going to be doing the drilling
You ever
when it
seen
came
Harlem
down
Nights?
to it.
You ever seen Harlem Nights?
I don't think so.
Harlem Nights, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, it's a A1 class star of black comedians.
Okay.
But it's set in old school Harlem, New York. But I only say that because it's a play where they play the police so cold. You got to watch the movie.
Go watch Harlem Nights.
Yeah,
I think you'll like it.
Yeah, check that out.
There's a lot of legends in
Yeah, I just feel like Keefe D ran a cold play. He got the whole world trying to put details together and play detective. I'm no detective at all. However, I promise you on my mama, my
You
dead homies,
playing
my daughters,
detective
my
on this one.
I don't at all, ever. I never played detective, but guess what? The day Tupac died, I knew exactly who killed him that day. It's no secret to the people who really supposed to know.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Stop it.
So that was just open air secrets out in the streets at the time.
Not necessarily, but an element of the streets.
If you are close enough
it's
to
the
it.
Yeah, same thing with like how it's all this speculation of the actual conversation when neighborhood Nip the Crip lost his life. Certain people, there's no speculation. We know exactly what took place.
Exactly.
And it's not, you got some people online trying to convince the world that they would know shit like that.
Yeah.
It's certain people that don't care if people know. We just keep politicking and moving. Way before this Tupac shit was something to be talked about, I've been telling people Baby Lane and kill. I don't speak on it no more because it's politics. If Keefe D claim it, that's what happened. But for years, go back to MySpace days, I was the only person on the internet saying, I promise you Baby Lane didn't kill Tupac. But I'm through talking about that to this point.
Say,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Let Keefe put his spin on it. So I don't know if it's because y'all been in here for how long already? About an hour now?
At least.
Hour and 15 minutes, yeah.
So on my way up here, I got a phone call from one of my good resources. I don't know to put their name out there, but Diddy lawyered up.
Diddy lawyered up, so he's
I'm
actually.
dropping the bomb right here. No Jumper got it
lying.
first, but this shit.
He hasn't been charged, or has he?
He ain't been charged, but he lawyered up.
So he's thinking it's a
I
possibility.
got a message for Diddy too. Then
Yeah, he got the.
Mike DeRoe, Lil Al got your back, Diddy. So get your politics together. You need to holler. He'll holler. He got support. Lil Al, Mike DeRoe got your back.
Allegedly got the same lawyers from the Murder Inc. case. I want to say Irv, or it's another high profile case, but he got about 5 lawyers.
Has there actually been official charges brought, or
Against Diddy? No.
Nah,
Not that we know
it's
of.
gonna
so
hit.
just the internet buzz?
It's gonna hit.
For real?
Yeah, and like today probably or tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he's going to be criminally charged like today?
No, I don't know
No,
if the
the
charge,
story.
but
He's talking about the story's gonna hit today
he
on
for
that
sure,
platform.
He for sure acquired representation.
I mean, Diddy's like the worst person for them to try to like bring charges against this many years after the incident, because he's going to have super high profile lawyers on his shit. And it's been so long.
We don't know what cell phone numbers is what unless Keefe can remember Diddy's phone, everybody's phone number back then. Maybe they could. Let me not help.
You heard? Did you see the Dirt Rock? You see the Dirt Rock interview from Southside?
No.
Yeah, Dirt Rock. The little,
So yeah,
he had
so
the blue and gold.
yeah. So it's a number of $500,000 that he talked about that was only half of what should have been delivered. That is associated with Diddy. I'm only speaking on this because it's a big interview that's already been out for 4 years.
Yeah, it's been out.
Alex just reposted it recently. So Dirt Rock. And that's another name I'm quite familiar with. But anyway, yeah, ain't no telling, man. That's crazy. But like I said, Diddy, you know what I'm saying?
You going to get Dirt Rock at him?
You got folks that's affiliated,
Yeah,
that's
watch-
aware.
I'm going to watch an hour-long interview about it. So.
There you go. They got
We
part
should get
1,
it.
part 2, part 3.
You think we should get him? Or
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I think we should. But go ahead.
You know, I'm just saying the machine been in motion since since you been here.
Yeah, come on, man.
crap.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
let me ask you this though: do you think that? I mean, stopping short of like calling them names or insulting them or anything, do you think that Keefe D was doing some dumb shit by going around doing all these interviews talking about the case too much?
Goddamn right. Yeah, goddamn right. What the fuck? What you mean? Why not? I mean, how could it benefit him at all? And if it at any way led to what the predicament he's dealing with right now, either he just did not give a fuck, he was stupid as fuck, or he wanted to go back.
Well, he wrote a book. So it's like Vlad, I think, had his first interview, and Vlad in the interview is trying to get him to talk about all these very specific details, and he'll bring up very specific shit, and then Keefe D will be like, I don't want to talk about that. And so Vlad will say, okay, so in the book it says that you loaded up the guns or whatever, like, very specific details. So it feels like he wrote the book, didn't get in trouble from doing the book, did one interview and was probably super on edge, and then just kept doing more because in his head it's like, well, if I didn't get charged yet, and I wrote a goddamn book.
Whatever the agreement
offers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he must have.
100%.
And then when you think about our people and our plight in America, I think the law and technicalities have been used to whip our ass for a long time, and I think he probably got a little more confident than he should.
I mean, any person that's undereducated on the law is gonna play themselves. If you educate yourself on what you just did, if you go just look up the definition of a proffer and you see that after you go in or before, I would do it before, but you go in there.
He had to
know
have some
that
time because that's not no agreement you get in place and go in motion without some time passing. So he had time to research exactly what he was up against.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. But there's a clip out that he had cancer and he didn't think.
Have you spoken with subject matter before?
Who, me?
Yeah.
A couple times.
Have you been disrespectful toward Keefe D?
Have I been disrespectful towards Keefe? I mean, yeah, goofy.
All right, I'll just let you know. I just gotta say this on behalf of the homie. I haven't heard none of your commentary, but his son don't appreciate something you said. That's my low. So so I'm gonna just let you know, just on his behalf.
I mean,
we'll talk back channel.
We'll talk, but at the end of the day,
just think about what he up against. Cuz is like us.
Yeah.
But then his daddy is going, and then it's hard for him to
but
separate.
he goofing out. He can't do that. The streets, like, no disrespect to you.
Shout out little Keefe D.
Yeah, no
talk
disrespect to you.
Is he a real Crip? Just talk.
Yeah, no disrespect to you, cuz, but cripping is cripping, and nigga, the rules is the rules, cuz, and when the rules get broke, like I said, that's your family. You still go deal with your family, but as a representation of the streets, like, that's wrong. And that's, I mean, I stand on that.
My only reason why I don't even bust down my whole perspective on the whole Keefe D shit is based on my relationship with his son. That's my low. So
they say that he had cancer and he wasn't expecting to live that long. And he said he was the only person still alive that could tell the story, and he was gonna let it be known.
Rest in peace, my nigga Young Flo from Lantana, because I wasn't aware that the doctors told him he had 6 months when he had cancer, leukemia, and they had told him that Cuz was living out here like he was going to live forever. He stretched that shit to 18 months, and he passed.
We just hit 600,000 subscribers on the Clips channel right here. We're trying to get to 700, so you know what to do. Smack that red button and subscribe. Appreciate you.